Good day, everyone. Welcome to Ed 404, the speech and oral communication for teachers. So, our instructor in this subject is Mr. Claudio A. San, Jr., a licensed professional teacher. So, good day, sir. So, the reporter in this video is Mr. Brian O. Susada. And today, me and my group mates are going to report the chapter 2, which is the persuasive speaking in private and public institutions. Okay, so first, what is the importance of persuasive speech, or what is a persuasive speech? So a persuasive speech is a specific type of speech in which the speaker has a goal of convincing the audience to accept his or her point of view. So from the word persuasion. So persuasion is a process aimed at uh, changing behavior or attitude of persons or groups. So it is also a process of convincing others or convincing the audience to accept the speaker's point of view. So now, in addition, persuasive speeches can come in many forms, such as sales speeches, debates, and legal proceedings. So, an example of a persuasive speech is um, the sales speeches. So, when we say sales speeches, so um, it is when it is when the speaker is trying to convince the audience to buy his or her product or service. So if the salesperson is successful, the audience will choose to purchase the product or service. However, salespeople or salesperson understand that just because someone does not make a purchase after the first pitch, that does not mean that the pitch failed. So persuasion is often a process. So there are people may need multiple persuasive pitches and a lot of outside information before they are going to accept a new view. So just like us, as a customer. So it is very difficult for us to buy automatically the product. So it is very important for us to check if the product really works, or if the product really is really good before we are going to purchase it. So the role of the salespeople is the speaker, and the role of us as a customer are the audience. So the speaker is trying to convince us, is trying to persuade us to buy his or her product. So that's the example of a persuasive speech. So next, factors such as body language, the willingness of the audience, and the environment in which the speech is given all affect the success of a persuasive speech, which is very true. So in order to have a successful persuasive speech, um, the speaker must know how to control himself. The speaker must know how to act in front of other people. So in order to persuade someone, he must act professionally. Also, it is the use of words towards the audience. It is very important to check the usage of words, and also the environment in which the speech is given. So as a speaker, it is very important to become an observant before giving a speech. So as a speaker, it is very important to check the environment first, what the audience need, and what the audience want in their life. So next is the audience analysis. It's important in a persuasive speech, as the audience will be convinced for their own reasons, not for the speaker's reasons, which is very true. Audience analysis is very important. Um, um, it is the process that the audience will will analyze the situation based on their experiences, based on what they saw, based on what they hear from the speaker. So it is very important that the audience can analyze what the speakers um what the speaker want to express. Next is, there are goals of a persuasive speech. So the goals of a persuasive speech is to convince, actuate, and stimulate. So first, let's have convincing. So convincing. A convincing speech is designed to cause the audience to internalize and believe a viewpoint that they did not previously hold. In a sense, a convincing argument changes the audience's mind. So, for example, um, when a uh, when a person is trying to say that everyone must need to get vaccinated, so the goal of the speaker um, is not for the goal of the speaker is not for the audience to hear that he that he must ha- the goal of the audience the goal of the speaker is not for the audience to hear on how he feel after vaccination, but it also um, encourages or convince it also convince it also encourages or convince others to get vaccinated. So that is convincing. So next is actuation. An actuation speech is designed to cause the audience to do something, to take some action. This type of speech is particularly useful if the audience already shares some or all of your view. So actuation, from the word to act. So um, to act. So act. So actuation. So for example of actuation is that at the end of the presidential campaign, candidates begin to focus on convincing their supporters to actually vote. So they are seeking to actuate the action of voting through their speeches. Next is um, stimulation. So stimulation. Persuasive speeches can also be used to enhance how fervently the audience believes in an idea. In this instance, the speaker understands that the audience already believes in the viewpoint, but not to the degree that he or she would like. So as a result, the speaker tries to stimulate the audience, so making them more enthusiastic about the view. So I'm sorry from the word stimulation. It's stimulation. So so from the word stimulate. Okay. So from the word stimulate. So this is an activity causing an excitement or pleasure to um, the audience. So if the speaker already knows that the audience understand um, what he's trying to say, but the speaker also needs to stimulate or to give excitement in order to persuade the audience. Okay, so next is um, let's the next is the basics of argumentation. Argumentation. So from the argumentation. So what is argumentation? So from the word argument. So what is argument? Okay. So argument are claims backed by reasons that supported by evidence. So we as individual, we have different claims. So we have different claims, and as a group or as a different from others, we have different claims or We have different beliefs. We have different thoughts or ideas. So, having an argument involves two or more individuals responding to one another's claim and support for such a claim. So, um, yeah, we have, as an individual, we have different claims. So, and we have supporting us, we have reason that supports our claim. Okay, so there are five highly relevant characteristics of argument. So, um, first is, wait, where's my, first is, um, argument is, argument is a social process. So, as a process, arguments unfold based on contributions of the dialogue participants. Next is, argumentation aims to gain adherence from an audience. So, um, people argue to gain assent for their positions. So, the world is filled with ambiguous situations that argument attempts to render more certain. So, argumentation is a listener and an audience-oriented activity. So, even if the audience is just one person, ultimately, one wishes to persuade to audience the act on the advanced claim. So, whether it is to encourage action or gain support. So, next is, argument is an art. So, argument, as an art, argument has techniques and general principles. Therefore, it therefore is a learned craft. So, next is, argument involves contested issues. So, as a mode of influence, argument has persuasion as a central goal. So, argument does not occur where there is consensus. So, next is, argument fills much of our lives. So, whether we recognize so or not, argument dominates our lives. So we spend time arguing about what to eat, who to invite, when to do things, and where to go. Sometimes we can ask ourselves, why do people argue? So there are reasons why people argue. So first is to clarify thinking as individual or groups, which is very true. Sometimes we argue to give clarifications. We give clarifications to individuals. We give clarifications to our to group of people. So next is to explain or defend actions or beliefs, which is very true. So since we individuals have different claims, we need to explain our claims, our thoughts, and defend our actions or beliefs. Sometimes beliefs. Next is, people argue to solve problems or making judgments, which is very true. So especially um, in through you example, you have a partner. So sometimes you both of you argue a lot because um, it is arguments is also very important in order to solve both to solve your problems in relationship or not in relationship, sometimes in family, sometimes in classmates, sometimes in your co-workers, sometimes at school, sometimes at work. Next is um, to have fun. So participating in clash of ideas can be intellectually stimulating, as can intellectually stimulating process that is primarily pleasurable. So argument is not always serious and deliberative. So in fact, most arguments that people have are over relatively unimportant issues. So um, next is, what are the basic components of an argument? So there are different components. There are different components of an argument. So the basic the basic components of an argument are: first is claim, next is reason, next is support, and lastly is the warrant. First, claim. So claim are statements about what is true or good, or about what should be done or believed. Claims are potentially arguable, so which is very true. So I want to give you an example. So the first man sample, Mr. Kyle said, vaccines are safe. So that is his claim. His claim is that vaccines are safe. While Mr. Wilden said that vaccines are not safe. So that is his another claim. Vaccines are not safe. So both of them have different claims. So that is our claims. So next is the reason. Reasons. So reasons are statements that support a given claim. Making a claim more than a mere assertion, reasons are answers to the hypothetical challenge. So why do you say that, or what justifications can you give me to believe that? So let's go back to the first example. Mr. Kyle said that vaccines are safe. So why do you say so? It answers the questions. Why do you say that vaccines are safe? So Mr. Kyle said, vaccines are safe. It is because it undergoes the process of dadan. Oh, that is his reason. Next, while Mr. Wilden said that vaccines are not safe. So why do you say that vaccines are not safe? So Mr. Wilden said vaccines are not safe because there are people who died after vaccination. So that is his reason. So that is the reason. So next is reasoning is also the component of argumentation. So next is the support. So support substantiates the reasons offered and helps compel audiences to accept an advanced claim. This usually comes in form of evidence. So evidence comes in various of forms, including specific examples, statistics, data, testimonies, a narrative, to name only a few. Support. So this talks about the evidences. So let's go back to the example. Mr. Cass said that vaccines are safe because his reason is that because it undergoes the process of danan. Okay, while he support in support, he said that he gathers evidences such as testimonies, statistics, and data, and it is said that so there are a lot of people. So the number of people who has been successfully vaccinated safely became the support of his claims. While Mr. Adanza said that vaccines are not safe with the reason of because there are a lot of people died after vaccination. His support said that according to the statistics or data that testimonies that he gathered, that there are a lot of people too who died after vaccination. So that became his support because he gathers data or evidences. So lastly is the warrants. Is warrants. So warrants are the inferences of or assumptions that connect the support to the claim. So warrants often answers the questions, what what do you have to believe in order to believe that the support justifies the claim or reasons being made. So, so an example. So here's the example of the warrant. So the record of here's the example of the warrant. So the record of the record gathered the record of people who has been successfully vaccinated and surely safe is an accurate guide to, de, to determining to determining that vaccines are safe. So in other so sa while at the will at will Mr. Wilden's warrant also said that the record of human deaths the record of human deaths after vaccination is an accurate guide to determining that vaccines are not safe. So that is warrant. Okay. So argument requires establishing credibility. So credibility, as classical rhetoricians recognize, involves intelligence, characters, and goodwill. So intelligence means having knowledge of your subject and arguing in clear, logical fashion. Character means displaying traits your audience admires, like honesty, sincerity, integrity, and moral commitment. Goodwill means treating your audience with respect, putting your case in terms they can understand, and acknowledging their points of view. Aristotle notes that credibility is often the controlling factor in persuasion. If the audience does not perceive the speaker as credible, then the audience will not be as attentive to the message itself. Okay, so that ends my discussion. So here's the references of my topic. So now I'm going to give you to the next reporter. Thank you.